What is it? That stench. I've smelled it before.
You guys smell that? It's the newest hotly contested community debate. This time the community is at each other's throats over a specific weapon in Halo Infinite, the Mangler. During the HCS, pro players are quickly finding the Mangler to be a go-to weapon. Not only can it kill a player in 3 well-placed headshots, if you land just one body shot and then a melee, it'll instantly kill anyone, making the Mangler one of the most aggressive weapons in the game, at least right now. Pro players are demanding a nerf to the Mangler, while the community is demanding it stay as is. 343 has even come out and stated that they see the discussions about the Mangler, and they're looking into what to do. So, what do I think about the Mangler? Well, as weird as it sounds, I actually agree with both the community and the pro players. So let's start with where I agree with the community. The Mangler, in my opinion, is one of the more interesting and skill-based weapons in Halo Infinite. It's not a hit-scan weapon, which means bullet drop and leading shots needs to be considered when firing at a range, and the up-close lethality means that there's a bit of timing and outplaying the enemy if 2 Mangler users go toe-to-toe with each other. In a weird way, it reminds me a lot of the Halo 1 Magnum, and how intense those Magnum duels were in that game. If the Mangler was nerfed, I at least feel like the game would lose one of its more interesting weapons. What I agree with the pro scene about is that it's currently implemented in the game in a strange way. Something I think the casual Halo community misunderstands about pro player complaints is that they aren't complaining about casuals being too hard to kill now. What they're complaining about is that pro players like themselves are good. A pro player with a Mangler is even better. And unlike Halo 1, where everybody has the really competitive jack-of-all-trades weapon from spawn, Halo Infinite matches usually only have 1 or 2 players getting their hands on this thing. And it kind of derails the whole match, at least in rank. I do think there is a compromise though, and it's one that I'm kind of disappointed to see nobody talking about considering the kind of game Halo is. I feel like loadout games like Call of Duty or Destiny have negatively affected how people view balancing. They think that the only way to balance a gun in a shooter is with stat buffs or stat nerfs. Let's say we take the map Bazaar, yeah? And every wall weapon on Bazaar is a rocket launcher. Players are now shooting around corners, blowing each other up, and flags are impossible to capture. I'm not going to ask for the rocket launcher to be nerfed because that doesn't sound like an issue with the rocket launcher. It sounds more like an issue with the sandbox choice for the map, right? Halo is beautifully unique in that balancing can come in the form of how many weapons are on a map and what weapons are even placed on that map to begin with. Sometimes all it takes to turn an unbalanced map into a balanced map is by just rearranging the weapon spawns. Lockout from Halo 2 can be a super social casual map or a hyper competitive map, purely based on how many battle rifles and snipers are on it, if you catch my drift. The Mangler can be made less problematic in a way that doesn't require just this creativeless, bland stat change. The lack of Forge in Halo Infinite, I think, has also really hurt the way that we think creatively about Halo's balancing, but I'd imagine 343 have Forge tools internally that they can use to move stuff around the maps. So the question is, how can we rebalance the Mangler without straight up just changing its stats and function? I have 2 potential ideas. My first idea would be to remove the Mangler from small maps in competitive ranked and leave it for the larger maps like Behemoth, and also make sure there's a few of them on both sides. But my second idea, and this is one I'm going to be pitching quite a bit, is let the Mangler be part of the competitive loadout. In your primary slot, you've got this long-range battle rifle, useful for these cross-map duels, and up close, you've got this super skillful jack-of-all-trades weapon that makes the dance of close-quarters engagements interesting when both players are armed with one. I'm also hoping to see Halo Infinite work on introducing more weapons to the game, since a lot of weapon roles are just currently missing, in my opinion, such as a classic-style plasma rifle, the shotgun, and so on. I guess, all in all, my argument isn't to nerf the Mangler, but maybe reconsider how the game distributes the Mangler.